work today.
Okay.
All right, press record. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Live Travel Asia, where we show you what it's like living and traveling in Asia. Right now, we're here in Koreatown in Sukhumvit. We'll give you more information about this area, but today, what I mainly wanted to do was discuss with Justin here, who's one of my subscribers, also a YouTuber, who has been staying near the Sukhumvit area, and I wanted him to compare and contrast living and just staying here in the Sukhumvit area as opposed to him having stayed in the Ari area. So I wanted to compare and contrast some of the main areas in Bangkok, and this will be the first part of many series to come, and I hope you appreciate the insight that he provides. It might be a little different than mine. Why don't you briefly introduce yourself, Justin?
What's up, guys? So my name's Justin. I've got a channel. It's Just Living the Thai Life. I'm a regular visitor to Bangkok. I've been coming for the last 6-7 years now. I do plan to retire here, hopefully when I'm about 50. So 6 years left yet. What made me fall in love with this country? Simple, the culture, the weather. Living in the UK, we don't get much sun, and obviously the good food. You know, what more can I say, really?
All right, that's great. Let me first let you know how to eat this though, real fast. You get this lettuce, you get the pork, put the sauce in there, and then put whatever toppings you want. So excuse us as we're gonna be eating while we discuss this. We're both like super busy on a schedule this week, so we'll try to get as much as what we can done today. So first of all, how long have you been staying here in Sukhumvit for the past couple of days?
I've been here now for just over a week, and it's my first time staying in Sukhumvit.
How many times have you been to Thailand though?
Rough guess, probably about 16, 17 times.
Yeah, so even though you haven't stayed here, you've definitely been to Bangkok several times. You know the area, right?
Definitely, yep.
How much of that time when you're actually in Bangkok would you say you spend in Sukhumvit, even when you're living in RE?
Probably say about 20%. When I was living in RE, probably about 20% of the time.
Right.
Yeah, probably about 20% of the time. Because normally, to be fair, in the week, we'd just travel locally, and then on the weekends we'd travel outside of Bangkok.
For our viewers, I'm going to go ahead and link the locations of what I'm talking about as far as Sukhumvit and the Ari area. And Ari area is sort of like an up-and-coming area right now. It's a bit hipster. It's definitely a more local area, and it's going to be a bit more quieter. Sukhumvit is, when we say Sukhumvit, we're generally talking about the BTS stations, Nana, Asok, and Prompong. So that's actually a huge area because there's so much for us to do around this area. And most of us foreigners, all the businesses and everything catering to us are generally located there. So even if you live in a certain area, you end up coming here. So that would be the benefit, first of all, to live in Sukhumvit, right?
Definitely, absolutely, 100%. For me, Sukhumvit it caters for me, everything. It caters for me. You've got your BTS, you've got the MRT close by, you've got your American restaurants, you've got your Chinese, you've got your Japanese, you've got your Thai restaurants, you've got your English restaurants. You know, it caters for every, most nationalities.
Even Korean.
Even Korean, yes.
But there's definitely downsides to this convenience, correct? What do you think are the biggest downsides of living in Sukhumvit, staying here?
The biggest downside is the expense. You are paying a lot more. The hotels, the cheapest hotels around this area are starting from about 1,000 to 1,200 baht a night. That's a bit of a struggle trying to find a decent hotel with a swimming pool. The other side of Bangkok, the RE and the outskirts, you can pay sort of 700, 800 baht a night.
I mean, for reference, guys, that's about $40. It's about right. I mean, so my friends who come from the States and they're staying here only a couple of days, I recommend that they stay here just because of the convenience of being able to move around, because you got the MRT and the BTS line. This is where I tell them to stay, even though this isn't a place I would personally stay, not only because of the cost, but for me, it's just, if I was living here, I think I would go crazy. There's just a lot of noise from the traffic. There's always traffic. I don't know. It's just a bit too hectic. I think the air is probably the worst around this area. You'll smell the exhaust because there's so many cars here.
Yeah.
Justin just experienced coming like one station on the taxi, like it took him like 25 minutes, almost.
Literally, I think you can probably walk it in what, 10 minutes? Do you think?
Probably. I mean, it's a distance that took me 5 minutes to drive with a motorcycle and still weaving through traffic. So that is definitely a downside of staying in Sukhumvit. But if you don't mind those downsides and you have the money, you can't really beat the convenience of living in Sukhumvit. That's for sure.
Oh, definitely. Personally, I think Sukhumvit will suit the younger people more because it's close. That's my personal opinion.
Okay.
I think it's because it's close to all the nightlife. And then, I mean, where we're staying, obviously, where I'm staying in by Asok, it is literally 2 stops to Nana Plaza, a couple of stops to Silam, you know, where all the nightlife is. So that's my personal opinion. I personally think it'll suit the younger generation more than my sort of age. I'm sure I'm my age now.
Okay, I'm gonna have to interject here and say I don't completely agree with him, but then I do agree with him because I've had other friends who prefer the clubs on Nana. And I would say, I don't want to go too in-depth with it because that would be like a whole nightlife guide, but the clubs that are around Sukhumvit are generally catered, I think, for white foreigners. Like, you don't really see many like Asians or Chinese, do you?
You don't. Well, I have to agree with you on that one, yeah.
Yeah. So it really highly depends on your ethnicity. It's not that they're racist. I go to these clubs here too, but I'm not gonna lie. The girls are gonna tend to come here if they're more attracted to like white, as opposed to like an Asian-looking guy like me, like Koreans or Chinese. And I'm gonna go over the other 2 areas, which is RCA, which is where I live, and Tonglor. And that's where a lot of the Asian Americans, if they're into nightlife, will tend to stay. And it's not just Asians, like, it's not like they're racist against white people in those areas, but some of the girls, I mean, the guys, and even the girls prefer the kinds of crowds that you'll meet in those areas. It's a bit different, I think. I gotta one day take you to those clubs, so you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. It's whatever the case. Yeah, the nightlife is good here, and I think as far as if you're looking to mingle with other Falangs or foreigners, then Sukhumvit is where you want to come. Even if I like to meet the girls in like RCA or Tonglor, if I'm meeting other friends, they generally want to tend to meet like in Nana or Asok. And a lot of people know those places as where the red light district is and the go-go bars are, but it's also where most of the bars that cater, just normal bars that cater to foreigners are. So, and it's just convenient to get here too for everybody if we're living all over the city. So we generally merge around here. And that's why I even though I don't necessarily like the nightlife in Sukhumvit area, I have to come for the people, right? That's what it is. So,
I mean, I've experienced the nightlife. I said I'm a bit old for the nightlife now, but on this trip,
you're never too old for the nightlife, here, buddy.
On this trip, I've actually experienced a lot of the nightlife, more than I've ever done before.
Yeah, well, okay. So let's talk about your life in Arif. So we've talked a lot about Arif.
So, for me, RE was, it was a quiet place. There was a lot of government buildings around that area.
That's true.
So it tended to be a quiet place until it got to about 5 o'clock in the evening. Then obviously it was absolutely rammed with all the government workers coming out finishing their job. But I mean, Ari's nice. You've got a big shopping centre there, and the clothes in there are ridiculously cheap. It's more like a market inside.
Oh yes, there's definitely like a night market area there. My Mayu actually goes there to get a haircut, and there's a lot of clothes for definitely girls, and like the standard street market kind of stuff for locals, like t-shirts and stuff. Yeah, that's definitely
Definitely, yeah. I mean, like I said, it's a lot quieter. So in the daytime, I tend to just travel all around Bangkok, mainly Chinatown, Khoi San Road. So for me, it was ideal. It's more relaxed because in the daytime you're busy, you know, looking around all these places in Bangkok, and in the evening you just want to relax. You know, maybe I'm getting old, but
Yeah, I mean, I think old and young alike, age ain't nothing but a number. I'm gonna have to interject here again and say, I've seen like guys in their 60s coming out here and partying harder than the 20-year-olds, you know?
Yeah.
So, if you like to party, then yes, come to Sukhumvit. But if you're actually living here, that gets a little old after a while, right? You
I can imagine if you live here full time, you can't do it every night.
I mean, it didn't get too old for me, but my liver got old on it, so I had to I had to calm down. And I'm saying this from a point of view. I actually live by other clubs as well, but I'll go over the area that I live in, RCA Ramanai, in another video in detail. But RE is actually a very popular area, even with the younger crowds. They believe that it's a more hipster type of area, like the newer hipster, like cafes and different little restaurants and shops. A lot of people describe it as like the new up and coming like Brooklyn of Bangkok. So there's like an art scene there, hip little clubs here and there. Although I myself haven't really seen them, but people who live there tell me that. So, but overall, it's definitely just a more normal paced life. You're not gonna be, you know, being woken up at the middle of the night with sounds of people yelling and screaming on the street level. The air is relatively better, but that area is still pretty crowded. What about the transportation? How did you find the transportation?
Right, where my condo was, we was down a little soy street, and literally you just in the morning you go downstairs, you step out the front, you put your hand out, a little scooter would come up. To get to the nearest BTS was 50 baht, but to get to the top of the soy, it was only 10 baht. And then you had your buses, which were running very regular, but the BTS was about a 10-minute ride from where I was actually based. But one thing I would say about Ari was the accommodation was very cheap.
Definitely. And be mindful that he lived up a soy, so like a small alley from the main area. You could live really close to Ari as well. And even paying for that condo is going to be significantly cheaper than paying for a condo that is close to, you know, Nana, Asok, or Prompong. So you got to be mindful. But how much were you paying there for a condo?
5,500 bahts a month, and that was with Wi-Fi as well.
So that is less than $200, guys. I know a lot of people are saying, oh, it's impossible to find rent below 12,000. Like, I quote people, an average condo here is going to be about 12,000, which is about $400. People were, like, I was getting a lot of troll messages, like, that's impossible. And here you have it, guys. Less than $200. It is possible, and it's a relatively nice place to live.
Yeah.
And there's a BTS right there as well. And it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, if you consider taking a taxi, just one BTS stop, you could get to the same area taking the BTS without any traffic. So that's why people like to stay on the BTS line, because it doesn't matter how far you are, unless you're like way down by like Onnut, you're gonna relatively get to places relatively in a time. Now, Ari is located sort of here. This is Siam, where Siam Paragon and all the malls are. And then you have Sukhumvit. And then up here you have the Chatuchak weekend market. And even when it's not the weekend, you have a night market, etc. So you can live a relatively local life, but it's definitely within reach of all the main areas, I think. And that particular street also has a ton of buses. So if it isn't particularly you wanting to go to Sukhumvit, I think transportation is quite convenient and buses are much cheaper. And Ari is also located very close to Khao San Road. So people who like to go to that area, it's convenient too. You take a taxi and it's...
I used to spend many a days in Khoi San Road because to most restaurants in Khoi San Road.
Yeah.
For me, in the daytime, fantastic.
Yeah.
In the evening, again, it's the younger generation.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's even young for me, and I'm 35, right? Yeah, you go there, it's not really my crowd. Like, it's like a ton of backpackers in their 20s, you know, trying to discover themselves, etc. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just, I can't relate to that scene. You know, I don't want to go butt crazy and drink, but if you're into that, you can go there at night. And during the daytime, I think there's some of the best street foods there.
Oh,
as
definitely.
Well. Yeah, so I gotta take you to my favorite street food place. I love it. They make the best pad thai and crab curry.
Really?
Yeah, I have to take. Yeah, and it's relatively affordable. And actually, it's actually a hole in the wall, and the best places there aren't actually on the street like the vendors are selling off the carts. It's like the established restaurants that are within Khao San, just a little bit off. And my aunt used to have a guest house there, and that's how I know a lot of these.
Ah, okay, I
Yeah,
see.
but it's actually very far away from me in Rama 9. So I don't really have many opportunities to go there. It's just a hassle because there's really no BTS, nothing that goes to Khao San. You have to take a taxi. So in RE, that's within your reach. Whereas Rama 9, where I live, which is a very good place, I'll tell you, if you like Khao San Road, you're not gonna like living there because it's hard to get there.
Right.
Yeah. How long did it take to get there in a taxi without like much traffic?
So I'd say about not far, about 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
About 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, not
Probably like 50, 60 baht, right?
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, which is about $2 one way. So, oh, you know what? We've been talking so much.
We're not eating. What's going on?
Yeah. We need to eat this. Eating break. Alright, now we got some food in ourselves. I'm gonna start talking about food in RE. Everyone knows what food is available in Sukhumvit. It's relatively overpriced. Although, if you're coming from America or whatever, you'll think it's cheap. It's still cheaper than definitely London, right? Yeah, but it is like almost half the price when you get out of Sukhumvit. How did you like the choices available to you over there?
Oh, there was a lot of street food. There's a lot of choices available. Literally, in our soy, we had probably about 15, 16 food carts. And that's just in our soy. And then when you come out onto the main road, you had them literally all along the main road. So the variety of food available was very high. And it ridiculously cheap. Ridiculously cheap.
Actually, there used to be a lot of street food here in Sukhumvit, but they cleaned up the streets, so a lot of the vendors are no longer here. So I could almost argue that there's even more street food available in RE now. Not too many carts anymore, but there are definitely established hole-in-the-wall places where you can get good pad thai and different kinds of kamyanggung soup, etc. Now, as far as Western food, I know like right by RE Station, there's a Villa Market, which is a market actually that caters mainly to foreigners, so slightly more expensive. And in there, they have nice little places that have more of the gentrified types of restaurants and the chains. So it's still there, but you get a bit of the best of the both worlds, I think, over there.
Most definitely, yeah. Most definitely, yeah.
What were like how much was like the typical meal that you had there?
What, I was eating pad thai. I was paying 50 baht. My partner, she was paying, I think she would have som tam every day, and that was like 40 baht. Just so much to choose from. So, remembering the prices, to be fair, but I always remember pad thai was 50 baht.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically local prices. Actually, I think you paid a little bit on the higher end, but we're talking about like 10 baht here, like 30 cents.
Yeah.
So, to someone like Justin, who's on a Western income, you might as well just get it from like the most established, tastiest place there and pay a little bit more. One thing about Sukhumvit though is if you're particularly staying in Terminal 21 area, the food court is exceptionally cheap there. So you actually pay the same price there for pad thai and the other things. But that's only Terminal 21. If you actually venture off, I don't know. It's actually been quite hard for me to find Thai food at reasonable prices. that's just me. It tends to be around 70 or 80 baht. I'm sure there might be like certain hole in the wall places that locals frequent.
I'm sure there is. Yeah.
Yeah, but maybe I'm just sounding biased. but yeah, generally everything is gonna be around that price, and it's like, what percentage of the people would you say living in RE were local?
Or a very high percentage. I'd say 80%.
Yeah, you're being generous. Like when I go to RE and I'm walking around, I would say like over 95% of the people I see look Thai or Asian, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah. Probably higher then. I'm just because obviously there's a lot of government buildings there. A lot of the people are based in that area. So yeah, okay, maybe a bit higher. I was being too generous.
I mean, all the restaurants there are pretty much catering to locals. Like, I like that because you don't have to deal with foreigner prices or the tourist prices.
Yeah.
You know you're paying what locals will pay. Another thing I noticed is something I also want to let you know, because you haven't been to Sukhumvit. When you're in Sukhumvit, it's almost like I feel like half the people are not Thai. Maybe, maybe sometimes even more. Like if you go into like the nightlife areas, like 80%, 90% of the people are foreigners.
Definitely.
Yeah. So it's very Western in Sukhumvit.
And that's why it's so expensive. You know, it's just it is a shame, really, to be honest with you. That's probably why for Ari, because I'm more of a when I come here, I want to mix with the Thais, not with more, other Farangs and foreigners. You know. And Sukhumvit, that's what you're getting, you know.
Generally, if I had to sum it up, if you're the type who wants to socialize with mainly Westerners, live a Western life, you have an unlimited budget, Sukhumvit is convenient. As long as you can get over the noise factors and stuff. But when you start paying about like 40,000 baht for a condo per month, you're gonna sometimes find ones with double pane windows, nice noise isolations. So that may not even be an issue, but you're definitely paying a lot. I mean, compared to 5,000-6,000 there in RE, or even like 12,000 in Rama 9, which is a little bit more of a modern area. So that's something you have to be mindful of. RE might even be too local for some people, and that's why I'll introduce some of the other areas. I think it's like a middle ground, but I don't know. Like, you certainly liked it. It was definitely a slower pace of life, right?
Definitely, because I mean I was visiting there all the time, so I come to know the area and where everything was. And for me, everything was convenient. And like I said, it was mainly Thai people. So for me, definitely Ari. Sukhumvit on this trip, I've enjoyed it, don't get me wrong, I'm enjoying it, but it's very expensive.
I mean, 5 nights here is more than a month rent, and like but even if you were to like try to rent something very, very, very cheap, the cheapest I've heard was I have a teacher who's renting a condo for 15,000 baht in Phrom Phong. I'm still amazed how he found that deal, because that's really good. But that's as cheap as I've ever heard it. If you want to get to like anything decent, I think you're gonna have to spend, even with a lot of searching, 25,000 baht. Yeah, it's almost twice the price as anywhere else, and it's not, I wouldn't say, a very good place to like live with a family, you know. But who am I to judge? There are a lot of people who live there, right? So that's something that we wanted to let you know. If you're traveling here, I always recommend all my friends to stay in Asol, just because it's just convenient, and it's the traffic. Yeah, the traffic. You don't want to waste time traveling. You want to be having experiences, doing as much as you can. But if you're gonna live somewhere else, I think RE is great.
I think so, yeah, personally. I've heard that Bang Na is supposed to be, that's only what I'm hearing, but it's supposed to be very similar to Ari. Is that it? Do you know that? Or is that the case?
Actually, guys, I wasn't gonna cover Bang Na, but I'll quickly cover on it. Bang Na is right next to a huge shopping center. I actually go there because that's the only place that used to have an IKEA. There's another IKEA now that opened up in Central Westgate. But Bangna is the one that I'll still go to. But yeah, if you live there and you have no reason to come to Sukhumvit and you want to isolate yourself, that is a very convenient place to live. I think it's more modern than RE in some cases. But yeah, Gangna's not bad. But the reason I don't want to cover some of these fringe areas, even though they're gonna, if you just want to isolate yourself from Sukhumvit and stay there, is that if you are a foreigner, chances are you're gonna come to Sukhumvit. And these places take like almost an hour to get to. So, and that's under good conditions. When I go to IKEA in Bangna, I have to beat the traffic, get to the BTS here in Asok, take the BTS for like another 30-40 minutes, and then wait for the bus that's a shuttle there to Mega Bangna, and that's another 20 minutes. And I usually go like around 2-3 p.m. where there is not much traffic. And on the way back, because I'm buying a lot of stuff at IKEA, I'm taking a taxi, and that will take about an hour, even with not much traffic at all at that time. So that's something you have to be mindful of. You know, I will cover though another area that is relatively close to there called Punawiri and Annut, very popular area with the foreigners, and I would say that's quite similar to Ari. That's definitely similar to Ari, and I'll cover that. I have another friend who lives there. It's actually where the younger crowd lives, and I'll tell you why the younger crowd prefers it there over Ari, although both of them are relatively affordable and offer you a similar lifestyle. So I'll definitely go over that in a future series. Yeah, maybe your next place will be.
Definitely, yeah. Why not?
I'll let you know about it. Oh man, I'm sorry though, but we were eating this and it's dry now because we're so busy talking. How do you like the food though?
The food is really nice. It's the first time I've had a Korean barbecue. Highly recommended. Really nice.
By the way, so this platter of pork is gonna be 300 baht, which is a little less than 10 bucks. And this broth-based marinated beef is 400 baht. So that's like $12, $13. I don't know what it is in pounds. I don't do that calculation that fast, but this brings me to a good point because you mentioned it too. If you do decide to settle down in an area, then you do still find your way of finding relatively affordable places to eat and dine. And it's still relative because 300 baht for one dish is relatively an expensive price out here in Thailand, but it's something that I even pay, like sometimes even in Ramen 9, etc., depending on the quality of the dish. And I like this particular restaurant because they offer a bunch of sides as well. Unlimited rice. If you want it to be cheap, you can just order this and just eat rice and all the sides. Although that's like a very, very rude thing to do in Korean restaurants. Yeah, it's like Koreans know it. Koreans know that if you come to a Korean restaurant, you need to order at least one dish for each person. But some people take advantage of that and then come and then just order one thing and then just keep asking for seconds on this.
Yeah.
And if they keep doing that, the Korean restaurant will start charging for every one of these side dishes. Yeah, so that's something I try not to do. I try to order two. So I come here when I'm hungry to get my fill of Korean food. Yeah.
Great value, great value. You know, I love experimenting with different foods. You know, just I look at the food we eat in England, the Farang food, and it's awful, mate, compared to this. You know, it really is. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, one of the reasons that I can live in Bangkok, a minimum requirement for me is cuisine. And I come from LA, so we actually have very good Korean cuisine. I would say Korean is better in LA than I'm good. I got water. They give you unlimited water too. That's very Korean thing to do. But the Korean food definitely is passable here. It's enough for me to not really miss, being in LA or Korea. This restaurant particularly though, they do it right. It's relatively authentic. If you go to Ari and the other areas that are more local, they do have Korean restaurants, but don't be fooled because they're not operated by Koreans. So they have like a Thai spin to the Korean food, right?
Yep.
The spices will be a little off because they're using Thai chilies, etc. And when I'm talking about Ramenheim, I'm gonna touch up on Huekong, which a lot of the Chinese like. But that's an area that has a lot of Chinese foods with ethnic Chinese that are Thai living there, but it's not authentic Chinese. So I imagine the Chinese would feel the same way too, but it's still passable. You know, if I could go to like these Korean restaurants that are Thai, and if I'm really craving a certain flavor, it's not gonna completely satisfy me, but it's enough to hold me up until I can go to Korea or back to the States and then gorge on Korean food until I'm so sick of it, you know? So that's a benefit of Bangkok, definitely. It's very multicultural. And all that multiculturalness is centered around, I think, Sukhumvit. So, especially for, you know, more ethnic people like me that need ethnic foods, even like you'll see like near Nana, there's a Middle Eastern area. There's an Indian area for Indian food. All of that is going to be centered around Sukhumvit, so those people should also be aware. Although Chinese food is particularly not centered around Sukhumvit, so I'm gonna have to interview a Chinese person. But John tells me. Yeah, he usually goes more to Sapan Taksin area, the old Chinatown area, and up in Huekong. So that's a little different. Whereas most of the other Western or international foods are centered in Sukhumvit. So be mindful of that if you're, you know, of Middle Eastern descent, Korean descent. What else we have here? Indian descent, etc. Thanks again, guys, for checking out the discussion. I hope you found it informative. This is actually a very tricky topic to tackle, as everybody here has their own opinions and views about where you should live in Bangkok. Furthermore, like what they think the real Thailand is, etc. This is just like a basically troll magnet topic that you cannot please everyone with. I hope you're enjoying the fact that I'm gonna start featuring different people with different views about Bangkok to have these discussions with. So you're not just getting my view. As much as I can try to stay unbiased and informative, it's such a big city with so many experiences. Even though I've been living here for several years now, I possibly can't claim that I know everything about Bangkok. So that's why I want to get the help of other people to have these discussions with, so that you have a wide variety of different views about life in Bangkok. I'll definitely follow up with more videos like this about the different areas. If you're living out here, I've already had a couple of people reach out to me to offer to have discussions with me. Definitely comment below if you're in one of the areas that I'm interested in featuring in the future. Particularly right now, I'm trying to do like Rama 3 area, as well as Sapan Taksin and Lad Prao. Those are actually areas that I don't know too many people living there personally, so it'd be helpful if you lived in those areas. But whatever the case, I hope you found it at least a little bit enjoyable, and I hope to see you guys next week for more vlogs about living and traveling in Asia. So the battery actually died in the middle of our discussion, but we'll just have to wrap it up. I should have definitely planned that Q&A better, but I hope you like the more organic, natural conversation that we had. But since we're already here at Koreatown, I'll just let you know this is Sukhumvit Soi 12 for those of you who want Korean food. And that right there to the right is Changwon, which is the restaurant I keep going to for Korean barbecue. But they have a ton of other options up here. Up there is a nice little place that's a bar food kind of thing that opens really late. Sometimes we go there after party. You'll see a lot of girls and guys going there just to keep drinking after the clubs are closed. This is a very popular shaved ice place called Seolbing. A lot of people come here too. And another place I like to go to here is this chicken restaurant. And that up there, Cha Kum Song, is like a Korean style Chinese restaurant that a lot of Koreans like. If you like jjajangmyeon, that's the place to go. And lastly, the other things they have here is a Korean style karaoke bar over there. So you got karaoke and you could even ask for girls to come in, etc. Anyways, I'll let you figure that out if you're interested, but that's Koreatown for you.
Got my umbrella. It's raining. It's raining hard.
Now we must go see his girlfriend. All right, guys. So we're now gonna head over to Terminal 21, which is like a very big shopping mall here. A lot of people will tell you about it as it has one of the best food courts. Justin behind me is gonna meet his girlfriend there. Before I go on and ramble on with the extra monologue for the people who like the longer, more detailed stuff, and warn you to click off now if you think my vlogs are long. I want to give a quick shout out to my buddy here, Justin. I also want you guys to check out his channel, as he has a channel on YouTube. And what's your YouTube channel name?
Just living the Thai life. Thanks, guys. Much appreciated.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and link it on the descriptions below. Justin's been coming out here for a while. I mean, he's not a long established vlogger, but he's a good lad. And I can't recommend his channel anymore if you want just like an insight, a different insight than I have, because I don't think there is any one insight into life in Bangkok or Thailand that is more valuable than another. Everybody has like their own way they make Bangkok and Thailand theirs and enjoy. So that's why I wanted to introduce all these different locations, tell you the pros and cons, as I honestly can't say with certainty that you're gonna like one area over the other for sure. Everyone is certainly different. So you know where I like to live because I live there, but Justin over here likes to live in RE. Unfortunately, he hasn't checked out Punawiti though, so I highly recommend that
I'm gonna check it out for sure.
but Justin's been coming out here on long-term vacations, months at a time. 16 times so far. I would say that overall, maybe you lived here longer than I have, because I've just been here like continuously for about 3 years. So, you know, he definitely has insight, and definitely insight historically, because I only know modern Thailand. Were you here like when they were having the protests and stuff like that?
Yes, I was. That was actually the first year I come.
Oh yeah.
It's the first time I come. They was having protests in Bangkok.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a bit crazy, but you know, we stayed local. We were told to stay local. We did, so everything was good.
Yeah, my aunt tells me about those times. She tells me it's not as bad as people make it out to be when you're actually here.
That bad. It really wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
Honestly. I felt safe. No problem at all.
Yeah, but I mean that's all about that's just hearsay for me. You can hear it firsthand from this guy here on this channel. But yeah. Anyways, let me go ahead and continue on with a little bit more about Sukhumvit. As you can see right here, I'm walking in one of the more, I would say, a modern, nicer area of Sukhumvit, right?
Definitely. You got Terminal 121 just over there.
Yeah.
You know, it's all happening here.
Yeah. You can definitely see that there's a ton of traffic, and I am not exaggerating. This is pretty much your standard traffic. So that's why everyone likes to go on the BTS. There isn't traffic. Even if it's just one stop, sometimes it's worth it to go on the BTS. So that's something that you should be mindful of. And imagine all this traffic creating all the exhaust. If you're someone that is sensitive to smells, this might not be the place for you. And another reason I mentioned that this is like a more modern area is if you go to the other areas like Nana, the streets are gonna be littered with nightlife people, to put it nicely, correct?
Absolutely correct.
Yeah. And I'm not gonna judge, but that may or may not be to your liking. You just finish work, or you come back home to that that's something that I cannot psychologically deal with on a day in day out basis. But even in the nicer areas here, if you go over sort of in that area, you will see low-key nightlife people. So yeah, that's just something that you deal with on a daily basis and see in Sukhumvit. And I don't know what that does to the psyche of a man. I don't think that's healthy. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
Yeah. So that's really why I say. I mean, you should just come here. Maybe I recommend as a vacation, stay here just a short while.
Just 3 days.
Yeah, and or come here with your girlfriend. You know, that way you're keeping your eyes straight ahead, and you're ignoring all the other stuff happening because.
But it is
Yeah. Okay. What I want to say though is that I can talk about this forever. I can make 100 vlogs, but it does not substitute you actually coming out here and living it, right? You just have to be out here to know what it is like, and
it's 24/7.
yeah, and that's why I say, come out here. You know, in the beginning, you can stay in a couple different hotels, get acclimated to Bangkok and the different areas that I'm telling you about, and sort of explore the different benefits and advantages and see if it's right for you. Because I don't recommend that you even sign a 1-year lease or even a half-year lease after being here for even a week, yeah? Because, I don't know, walking around Sukhumvit every day, it might not be for you. You might get sick of it after a couple of months. And I certainly do not recommend that you buy a condo or a house, God forbid, before you even live out here for a month, because you everyone is saying you should buy in Sukhumvit. You hear that a lot, right? Everyone says, yeah, oh, you should buy in Sukhumvit. This is the best place to be. You'll keep hearing this. And like, why would you not want to live anywhere else but Sukhumvit? But call me crazy, but maybe me and Justin are the few people that think that is not a very healthy lifestyle to have. I would not buy my condo in Sukhumvit. It just, you're paying like 3-4 times the price of a condo anywhere else. And you are guaranteeing that you're going to be living a very interesting lifestyle. So no, I do not recommend that you automatically start trying to find the best place on Sukhumvit next to a BTS line. I highly recommend to you guys, if you get anything out of this vlog, that you come here, you stay here. If you like it, try living here. And after you live here for about 6 months to a year, and you're like, oh, you know what? I don't mind this lifestyle. I can live this for the next 10 years or whatever. Then buy a condo. That's really why I keep telling you guys, you need to come out here and live before you even consider buying a condo. You really don't know how your interests and preferences will change within that couple months. Oh, I'm inside now. But whatever the case, if you like this video, found it helpful, I encourage you to subscribe. If you like this guy here, Justin, I encourage you to check out his channel and subscribe. And whatever the case, I'll see you guys next week for more vlogs about living and traveling in Asia. You know what? I have to show the lovely girlfriend. I put my camera away, so I'm vlogging with my iPhone right now. But it will not do justice. I said, oh, he's gonna go meet his girlfriend. I don't even show the girlfriend. This is Justin's lovely girlfriend, Miyu. You guys can see more of them on his channel. So I guess that's a bit more of an incentive to click onto your channel than his face, right?
Oh, come on.
That's just like me. That's just like me. You know, people watch my vlogs for Mayu, not me. I'm not gonna lie. So, Miyu, what do you like to do? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Shy, no.
She's super shy.
She's super shy.
She's shy.
So tell me about your cactus. You like collecting cactuses?
Ah, yeah. I have a lot of cactus in my office and my room.
Ah.
I normally in my room I like to take care of them, give vitamins to them, everything with them. I happy joy with them.
I wanted to ask that because I think that is like one of the most unique hobbies, but I really like it. Justin's met like a normal, perfectly awesome Thai girlfriend. I think there's gonna be cool vlogs to come because they have interesting interests. I've never heard of someone who is into cactuses. What is your most expensive cactus?
1,000 something. Its name. Yeah.
But anyways, yes, growing cactuses, living the Thai life. We're gonna keep going. Oh, by the way, one last question. If Justin here and you met, and then the first thing he told you online is when you ask, where do you live? Because that's something you ask, right? You usually ask, how old are you? Where do you live? What do you do, right?
Yes.
That's a basic thing. And he said, I live in Sukhumvit. Would you have met him?
No.
No.
If you say no first.
What if he said, I live in Nana?
No too.
Double no. Guys, that's just a little aside I want to put in there, but in my dating experience, all Thai girls will ask you, where do you live in Bangkok? And if you tell them you live on Sukhumvit, and that is a nice way of saying it because you don't want to say, I live in Nana. There's a high chance they won't even see you, as there's a bit of a, this area is a bit infamous for, yeah. So anyways, here's another reason you may not like Sukhumvit. Even though, as we kept telling you, it's super convenient, there's so much great food, you're gonna end up having to come here anyways, there's other reasons, but that might be something that you're concerned about, that girls will just one-liner deny you because of where you live. So this is a reality that we deal with sometimes out here. All right, thanks for being honest. Luckily, what did you say? Because you were staying in Sukhumvit, actually. What did you say? You just said, I'm just,
No, we've been talking for a while before I come here. You know, so we've been dating for.
Oh, so you told her I was in RE at that time. That's why she met you.
No. I told her, yeah.
Okay. All right. We got to sign off. We're gonna enjoy Terminal 21. I'll do another vlog about this place, but this vlog is getting long. So yeah, see you guys. All right, guys. We are in front of KFC right here. There is like a particular thing you can get here. You can get egg tarts. I don't know if they have this in the States yet, but these are super delicious. I can understand Justin's never had it, but Miyu, who sells frying stuff to KFC, hasn't even had it. That is unforgivable. I'm just gonna quickly vlog their reaction.
Okay. That is surprisingly nice.
Yes, it's so good. It's only 22 baht each.
You try them.
Okay, it's pretty good, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Because they don't fry it. All right. Okay. All right, we're really gonna sign off now.